welcome back to the Mothership Lexodus. Today we're going to talk about showing up for yourself even when you feel imbalanced, which is the hardest time to actually recalibrate and choose to raising up our vibration and our frequency. Get back into your routine, whether it's a self-care routine or a spiritual practice that you're seeking to embody in your everyday life. It's really important to show up for yourself. And Source reminded me that this is part of co-parenting my inner child. I think the word co-parenting comes up because you're not doing it alone. You're actually doing it as a part of a tribe, a starseed tribe, where we're all connected to Source and we're collectively. Funny enough, the AC just turned on in the middle of that last statement, which I think was a sign of movement in the energy field. And I think that's a good sign. And it also landed on exactly 1 minute and 11 seconds. So there you go. I love when universe reminds you that you are a part of a greater family, a greater system that is supporting you in your ascension, if you want to use that word. But it's really just a cycle of growing and relearning the same lesson over and over, but getting a little bit better at it each time, which is really different than how we normally think about growth, which is just linear. But actually, the most natural form of growth is cyclical. And it looks different in every season of our life. And to choose to still show up with that consistency, that discipline, that desire to see yourself win. And not in the sense of success necessarily monetarily or by the world standards. That can be a bonus, but really coming from the root, your heart. Knowing who you are, knowing your authentic self, and living true to that. So I was actually doing a meditation with a YouTube music channel that I follow called Shea Space. And they bring different DJs on that play holistic music, enrichment based playlists that really focus on consciousness and spiritual grounding. And I just love it. Every artist is so unique and different and brings their own flair to the overall arch of their playlist and how they present the music. And I don't know what it is, but every time I listen to it, it just hits me at my core and something releases. And I know it's because I need to, in that moment, reground myself and be that mother for myself. And the words just came to me in the moment to one of these instrumentals that were playing by this artist to sing as if a mother is singing. Not a lullaby necessarily, just a mother like a willow tree just singing in the wind, just letting her voice ring out. And to me, that represents that eternal force, that eternal maternal voice that never goes away and is a reminder of the ultimate truth of wisdom and how precious that is and how nurturing that is and how we all need that. No matter how old or grown we think we are, we need to find ways to self-soothe in holistic and maternal ways. And that's part of maturing and growing and healing, is showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it, because usually that's the exact moment you need it the most. And so even if you think that you're off balance or you're off the path, you're not. You're just going through that cycle and then you return back to Source. So for me, that's encouraging. That's something that is a beautiful reminder that even what we perceive as getting off base or off the path, it just takes away the judgment. It takes away the fear of messing up. And that can be hard, especially if you grew up with, well, I'll say for myself, a perfectionistic paradigm. But choosing to hold the space for myself, even in the moments where I feel that I'm messing up or I'm not necessarily showing up at my peak performance, there's something really beautiful in that. And there's a lesson in there for me that I need to receive if I don't avoid it. And I am definitely a great avoider. So, but every time I come back, she's waiting for me. Mother Source, she's waiting for me. She's patiently just like, okay, well, are we ready to move forward? And I just think that's really beautiful and confirmation ding. I'm going to leave that in. I just love how she speaks. People may say the Holy Spirit. Some people may say, Gaia, Akasha. It's source. It's just the breath that is inside of all of us. And she never went away. So one way I've always used my voice in the past as an opera singer, I have a professional background in opera, has always been to present the power in the voice at its peak level. It's basically the breath at its maximum capacity. When you sing opera, your throat, your belly, everything's open and almost mechanized. It's just this massive force of energy and power. Well, when I was listening to the artist that I mentioned earlier, I really just felt this need to let out almost like a feminine, maternal moan, just like a groaning, not in a a harsh way necessarily. There is a place for that. It wasn't from a place of grief or anything like that that you would hear in certain cultures, like mourning, wailing. It was more just like a really organic release of energy that wasn't so much about power, but more about just unlocking the blockages within myself, within my throat, that I've been struggling with, and that has been showing up as this consistent cough. And one thing that Source often reminds me is that I have to focus on healing. I have to remember healing is not a one fix all. It's actually a continual process, and there's layers to it. And so something else related to not showing up at what you may perceive as your peak performance, and letting that be a stumbling block to yourself, or self-sabotage is another term that you could use for that. So like I'm getting over a sickness. It's just been this consistent cough the last week or two. And it's really a reminder that I have to take care of myself, one, but also to use my voice anyway. And that is definitely a challenge for me, who wants to show up at her best. But there's a lesson in the imperfection, like I just said. As I released this prolonged energy, I really felt everything just crumble. Whatever baggage or energy I was holding on to unconsciously, I was able to release in that moment. And so I say that because opening the throat chakra is not just about expression for others. It's not always about getting a message across necessarily, like I'm doing right now in this particular context. But oftentimes it's for healing. It's for yourself. It's for you to push out the negative or whatever, the stifled energy, the stagnant energy is what I'm trying to say, so that you can let it flow and continue to let source channel through you. And I have to say, after that happened, my voice is not completely back. It's still a little raspy to my ear, but I feel physically very relaxed and energized at the same time. And I feel very in the flow with Source, very calm and very present with Source. And I think that's what that did. I think that me using my voice in that way as a healing tool was very important for me in that moment. And also, I'll say this, as a clinical music therapist, I often do use my voice for others and the clients that I see. But for me to remember to also utilize those methods and tools for myself was really important, so that I can continue to do what I do, or not. Even if I didn't, it's still important to remember that your voice is a healing tool for anyone. That's part of how we're made, how we're designed. So, yeah, it was really beautiful. And I've experienced that a few times since listening to Shea Space. So, if you haven't heard of them, check them out. I love every single DJ that they've had. And, just the sets are amazing and so healing and holistic if you really tap into the energy of it while you're listening to it. I suggest if you do any kind of meditation, use headphones as well, like high quality headphones, because it really does make a difference. So that's my little pitch related to music therapy content. But yeah, guys, so continue on your journeys and don't stop growing just because you feel like you've gotten off a little bit. That's just part of the process. It's a messy process. It really is. It's just like working out in the soil with your hands. To make something grow, you have to get a little dirty. You have to get some dirt under your nails and really go into the deeper aspects of yourself to unlock the hidden gems. You got to go under the earth. You have to go in the unseen, the unconscious, the quantum realm of yourself, and allow whatever needs to come up and fertilize that soil. And sound, light, vibration is a part of that. The third part of that equation is time. And that's the part we struggle with the most in accepting. Yes, we know it takes light and vibration, sound, but the timing aspect is just something that is built into this matrix that we've been born into, and that is part of how Mother operates, but not in a mechanized format necessarily. The synthetic algorithm that we follow through the internet and through apps and technology and things like that, which are just reflections of Source. But Source itself is very natural and follows the natural organic rhythms of life. And that takes time. There's seasons, there's star cycles, there's all these different mechanisms naturally in place that we've lost touch with, that have been overshadowed by instant gratification and our consumer society, that's kept us from getting back in the rhythm of natural timing. So of course there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some resistance in that, because unless you live, somewhere off grid, or in an environment where you aren't constantly distracted by these things, you are going to have to unravel a lot of that. You're going to have to unlearn a lot of that, that unnatural timing or rhythm that we live by. And I have been in that process for the past year or so of trying to get out of that capitalistic type of lifestyle in terms of just working, a normal job. And that takes time. And I really am, I will toot my horn a little bit, pleased with where I'm at today. I'm definitely not where I want to be yet. I still have to grow, but at the same time, I am vastly different energetically than I was even a year ago. And so I can see that in myself. I can see how far Source has brought me. And I'm also here in front of you guys and sharing this and in a place where I can express these things. So hopefully it can help someone else who is seeking to go on that journey and reconnect to Source as well. So, yeah, just a quick transmission from the mothership today. I hope that it was encouraging and that this remains a space that is safe for people to explore those difficult feelings on their journey and feel comfortable enough to return and be a part of this collective rising together. So, you have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time. Love and light.